Where I turned it off. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday night. Welcome, one and all, to the great Orion Podcast. My name is Chad Brock.
And I'm Zach Bailiff.
And you guys watching, listening, whatever it is you do, you're here. So I figured it out. Somebody took my battery.
Mm.
Huh.
Robbed it for the remote.
Robbed it. No, I don't think it got robbed for the remote. I think I just think it was vacant. Just flat out somebody took it. Bottom line.
Maybe
I think I
maybe
know
the
who it
dog
was.
maybe the dog was tapping on it and somebody just decided to take the battery out of it instead.
No, I know who was tapping on it and somebody took the battery out. I can almost point a finger exactly to the suspects in this questioning. Oh
Grandkids
man.
are good with noisemakers.
Little kids are fantastic with noisemakers, and I would say one wife got tired of a child making all kinds of noise and the battery fell out.
Sounds plausible to me.
What's been up, man? It's been like daggone almost a month.
Yeah. Chasing my tail, running a race that I can't win. Trying to catch a
Facts.
carrot on the end of a stick that isn't getting any closer.
Gotta be a faster rabbit, dude. I think we
You
both
would
need to
think.
be faster rabbits.
You would think.
Yeah, we're getting there. One of these days. One of these days we're gonna catch it. No, man, it's finally warm. I guess that's the big perk. It's warm and it hasn't rained in almost 4 days. So that's a plus.
Like a day and a half here, but no, it won't quit raining. I'm trying to plug all the leaks in my basement walls and build bows, and soccer started up, and yeah, it's just, life's rolling on.
I hear you, man. We've been trying to get a few new fishing rods built up here. Had a couple more drop off this week, so it's trying to get those dialed in here before we take off on Friday to head south to the old Patoka Lakes. Be back down there. That's always a good time. So yeah, we've been just trying to get tackle organized, trying to get just all the ducks in a row. I actually put on a new line. I've been super neglecting that process this year.
Yeah,
Actually, it's been getting worse every year. I wait till like the 0 hour, and then it's like, I should probably put on new line. The first 10 fishing trips, just fish with the old stuff, then put the
yeah.
new stuff on. Saves you like
Just
save you $100.
just cuss the memory that's built up in the line over the winter and fight all the birds' nests and
Nah, you just spray a little bit of that real snot on there, man. Spray a little lube on there, she'll fly right out. Ain't no thing.
yeah. I'm down to
Okay.
about 2.5 weeks until I leave for California, and I still don't have a bow put together for that shoot yet. So that's going to be a fun little crunch time build.
Yeah, dude, it's time. You get that thing
Just
dialed in.
just got to have a solid 101 yard mark and all the way down to my 2, 3, 4 yard marks. So it,
Yeah, but dude, by the time you get out there, you're gonna have to recite anyway.
not out there. Last year it was dead on when I got there. So
You can't beat that. Can't beat that. Yeah, it'll be a good time out there regardless. Man, that's gonna be the next podcast week too.
as long as it doesn't do what it did last year and rain for 3 days straight.
Yeah,
That was
might
that
even
that
best.
wasn't that wasn't a ton of fun.
La Nina, whatever they call it.
Yeah. No, it was sloppy, but it was a good shoot.
Jason Cassidy would like to add that you look jacked. You look
Yeah.
jacked. He's been working out like 2 days a week.
Yeah, couple,
Just a couple.
half effort workouts once or twice a week.
About 15 minutes. That's what he does every day. Every other day. Eats French fries, does lots of carbs. That's how he does it.
I did have French fries a couple nights ago.
French fries ain't bad. They're bad for you, but they ain't bad to have.
Yeah. Bad for you depends on how they're made.
True. You need a little potato every now and then. Every now and again.
Oh, yeah. Right before leg day.
I don't know where we're going. It's probably time to introduce our guest before everybody quits listening. It's already going like this. It's like
before he just logs off.
These guys are back, so we're going to need to probably start this with an apology to our guest because we rambled way too much. He's a filmmaker. He's an angler. He's an all-around good dude. Got a pleasure to talk to him on the Jackson Kayak Dock Talk the other night. Enjoyed it so much. I knew that there was more to this story, so we're having him back here on the Orion Podcast. Let's go with the Big Fish Energy. Mr. Tyler, what's up?
What's going on, guys?
You see, you're going to be in the big square tonight, dude. This is all about you. Maybe.
Whew. I don't know if I can handle it. No, I really appreciate the invite. I was just having a ball listening to you guys get the show started there. It was like watching the movie Step Brothers there when they're doing the interviews together and everything like that. It's good times, man.
It gets even worse when we're in the same spot.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys up there in Canada must not have much entertainment.
Man, have you seen our government? That's enough entertainment as it is, man. We won't get into that though.
That's not good entertainment.
No, that's terrible, man.
No, I think right now, right now between yours and ours, it's a race for who can screw the most stuff up. But
yeah, at least we got fishing, man. That's all that matters. As long as they don't take that away, we're good to go.
Yeah,
that's all we got, boys. That's all we got. It's a good time. Hey, the fish don't care. They're still going to bite. The deer's still going to move across the ridge. Nothing changes outside except maybe the weather, and she's just about as unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah, we're getting there, man. Starting to warm up here finally. Like you guys, we had a ton of rain recently, and finally starting to see the light, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah. You guys got hit pretty hard up there.
Yeah. 20 degrees one day and couple inches of snow the next. That's typical Ontario, man. It's what we're used to around here.
Yeah,
I like it. Good paddling though. Good fishing. Good paddling. Good hunting. Everything's better.
Turns the fish on for sure.
You guys got us beat in all those departments. But dude, like the Orion Podcast. So one of the questions that we ask every single guest every single time that we do this little podcast here. Like, man, how did you get started in the outdoors? What got you interested in being outside fishing, all this fun stuff that you're into now?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It all starts back when I was 5 years old, and my dad would, to preface it, I was born here in Ottawa, which is Canada's capital, but I've moved like 12, 13 times in my life, so I've been all over Canada, a lot of different places. So a lot of my time was spent growing up out west, actually, Alberta, BC. So I was first introduced to fishing back when I was like 5 years old. My dad would take me out to the river. I was kind of raised on fly fishing. That's like my roots. And that's where everything started from there, man. He'd take me out, and I was so little. He'd give me his fly rod, and I don't know, I'm sure you're familiar, but I would just whip it back and forth. Every fly that would come off that tippet would just be broken. Like, I would just go through flies left, right, and center. I didn't catch a fish for, the first year or two, and, it just started progressing from there. As I got bigger, I was able to obviously do a little more with the sport. So that's where it all started, man. Young age.
Growing up in BC couldn't have been bad.
It's brutal, man, because it's like it still holds such a big place in my heart that I go out and visit out there a couple times a year, and I never want to come back, man. I call it God's country. It's if you've never been, you have to experience it at least once in your life. It's unreal.
Yeah, any time I see, I mean, film work or guys doing hunts and stuff, anything out that way, it's definitely a destination that's on the bucket list. I got a couple buddies up in Alberta, and they do a lot of moose hunts and stuff
Yep.
like that. And it's another world.
Yeah, it's different.
So that explains all the trout images on your Instagram.
Yeah, man.
Is there a fun trout love?
Yeah, I'm addicted to trout, and now that obviously we've progressed over time, and being able to incorporate the fly fishing with the kayak fishing now is just it's a whole different world for me. It's pretty cool, that's for sure. Amongst everything else, it's hard to choose what you want to do on any given day. So many angling opportunities out here. So, yeah.
So, as you stuck with this thing as you got older, I mean, was there a time when you kind of, as you're growing up, you kind of paused for a little bit, took like a little brief stint away, and then came back maybe a little bit later and fell in love with it all over again? Or has it just
No,
been
man,
straight
it's
through all the way?
literally since day one I've been addicted. Like I was that kid who was out in the thunderstorms while you're out camping and fishing and not catching fish, but still fishing anyways because I was addicted. I was that kid who wouldn't sleep the night before going on a fishing trip because all I could think about was fishing and how excited I was. And it's crazy, man, because that still continues to this day. Like there will be times, I mean, obviously I'm an early guy. I like getting up at like 2, 3 in the morning, getting ready, getting out there on the water before the sun's coming up. And I know Doyle, if he's watching, he can attest to that too. He absolutely hates it, man. He's not a morning guy, but it's rooted in me, man. It's an addiction. I've never taken a break from fishing. It's just honestly just progressed further and further to the point I'm at right now where I've incorporated, the filmmaking content piece with it too, something I've been doing for a really long time, but only got serious with it in the past couple of years. But yeah, there's never been any breaks, Chad. It's just been full tilt since day one. And so, I don't see it stopping anytime soon, that's for sure.
How did the filmmaking part of it how did content and film come into play? I mean, what made you decide to kind of take that direction?
Yeah, so in my early teenage years, like when I finally got a car and my buddy Johnny's watching, he knows, like we'd go hit the rivers around here. There's a few different rivers in the city, some really good urban fishing around here for smallmouth, largemouth, world-class muskie fishing. Like there's some really good fishing in the area, and we'd go out and just hit the rivers all the time. And I'd always have that one GoPro with me, just film everything as much as possible. Wasn't serious about it. We were just out having a good time. And back at the time, technology was different. So I used the GoPro Quick app, super, super basic, but you throw all the footage in there. It would either, create an edit for you. You add your own music and there's your video, you export it. And I used to just start doing that after our fishing sessions, just to literally not to show anyone, just to send to my buddies to get them stoked about the next trip and like get them amped up on our evening and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it all started. And I honestly didn't see the power of like YouTube, for example, back when it was in its heyday, like when it was just starting out, like 2014, 2015, around there, like when John B and all those guys were starting out, Mr. Beast, everything like that. I didn't even think about that at the time. And a couple of years ago, I was, I watch fishing videos all the time on YouTube, and I'm just like, why don't I do this? Like, I could just do this, no expectations, just jump into it. I didn't know much about the fundamentals of filmmaking and things like that at the time. I'm really lucky to have some really good buddies, in my life who I've learned a lot from. Ryan Pizzacalla, shout out, Doyle Smith, obviously, a few other guys as well. And I've tried to soak in so much along the way that I'm at the point now where I've kind of developed my own style and, comfortable with the editing and, all the fundamentals of filmmaking, and as much as possible, obviously trying to learn all the time. But yeah, it's really just snowballed and progressed over time. Started as something super basic and just went from there.
Man. You're talking about YouTube 2014. I would say Zach and I will say openly, and I know Zach will too. I regret not spending the money and going for it then. And
We backed off the pedal instead of pushing down on it harder.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
think, I think there's a lot of people that probably thought that, like, no, maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. I think a lot of people wait till the time's right. And man, wish I'd have started in 2014.
I know it would have been you just didn't realize like what kind of money you could be making at this point. It's like
Oh.
buying crypto back when that was starting, it's like, man, I should have done that. But you know what? The time is now, and there's no better time than now. That's the way I look at it. Don't live in the past, just got to move forward. So
Yeah, and I don't even think at the time we were looking at it as like an income source as much as we were like brand deals, and maybe eventually we had this grand idea to like build a network of shows and different things like that. But yeah, we didn't even I don't think at the time realize like the financial side of it was going to be as substantial as it was.
It would have been huge by now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, like you said, that technology was still really new, and it's amazing how far it's come. But when you look at that technology, when you started piecing things together, how was that? Like when you launched your first video, do you ever look back at it and go, man, that was horrible?
I don't think you're any YouTuber, man. I think that whoa, there goes all my lights. Hold on. I think that's the case for every YouTuber. I was gonna say, man, it's so funny you say that though. I was literally just watching one of my first videos the other day. I was going through like the first couple of them just for fun, and man, they're bad. They're so bad, but it's kind of cool to look at in a sense because you can see how much you've progressed, and you look at that journey from then and to now, and it's just a really good feeling. It's cool in a sense, but man, cringy though. Oh,
yeah. I usually feel that way by the time I'm exporting and edit. I'm like, this sucks at this point. Like I just
I don't even want to put this out, man.
Yeah, basically.
Zach and Doyle carry some same similarities, Tyler. Zach is that guy that will send you the edit every now and then and just be like, I don't know if it's ready yet. What do you think?
Yeah.
And you watch it and you're like, dude, just send it. He's like, I don't know. And
I think I need to back to square one.
Days. Yeah. And then he sends it again and you watch it again. It's like, just send it. I just chuck it and forget.
That's it. And on to the next. But no, it's tough though, man, because it's like you put so much into it, and it's like a vulnerability thing too. It's like you can't let, because there's a lot of trolls out there. There's a lot of people who are going to criticize, and you kind of just have to drown out the noise and just focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, and I don't even I'm my own worst critic, so I could care less what anybody else is saying or thinking. I've already picked it apart 10 ways to Sunday by the time they even get to put their little comment on social media. So, but no, you're right. I mean, there's so many keyboard warriors and basement dwellers out there firing off their own opinions that that it can be a pretty negative space at times. But
well, and to that, tournament fishing can be a very negative space as well. And I mean, when you look at someone that is a creator and does these things, they're just as, I mean, it's just as deep a love and a passion for it. And it is, I mean, when you go out, you are competing with Mother Nature. So, I think there's a lot there, man. It's how do you feel like when you set up to go and film for a day, Tyler? Like, compare that to, I don't know if you've done any tournaments or any type of things like that, but kind of compare and contrast maybe a little bit on the differences between the two.
Yeah, I honestly haven't sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I was rambling. It's what I do best.
To cut you off, man. Yeah, no, it's I haven't done too many tournaments in a sense. I actually only really got into kayak fishing about 2-3 years ago, to be honest with you. We'll jump into that in a bit there. I could tell you about that. But honestly, it's evolved over time. In the beginning, it was like I need to make a video at all costs, man. Like no matter what happens tonight, I got to make a video. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to produce something just for the sake of producing something. And over time, I've sort of learned that, story is king, and taking your time. And, if something doesn't, I mean, it's fishing. I say it all the time. Like, it's not like we're filming product reviews in our basement. You know what I mean? Like the
Right.
fish don't cooperate a lot of the time. So you really have to be able to adapt and just work on putting that story together and really, start building that community that you're trying to build and like-minded people. And I wish I had like the contrast to reference. I am entering a bunch of tournaments this year, kayak bass tournaments, which I'm really excited about. That'll be a cool little adventure on the side for me. So I am quite competitive when it comes to that sort of thing. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, no, it's just been an evolution over time, just to slow down, really get those shots, take your time, and just enjoy the process. I find so many times, like a lot of the times I have to remind myself, like, you love doing this, man. Like, why are you stressing out right now? Like, you need to calm down. Remember that this is fishing. You're doing it because you love fishing, and you can't let the content thing and like numbers or subscribers or whatever get in the way of that. Got to remind myself.
Or
Are
kinda,
you are you
yeah, go ahead, Zach.
self-filming? Are you self-filming most of the time?
Am I self-filming? Oh, all the time. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, from time to time, like Doyle and I and Ryan, we fish quite often together. So it's kind of nice when we do, because we'll take turns actually filming each other and getting shots for each other and stuff like that, and photos, which is nice. But like my base has always been doing it all myself. So I've spent hours just learning how to use Premiere Pro, like working on getting faster with that and just more effective, and developing my own style over time. I think the count, I'm at 125 videos on the YouTube channel. So, we got a good little base of content there, really starting to learn what I enjoy putting together, and, different types of projects and stuff like that. I really want to start branching out and doing things for other people as well, too. I've learned through this process that I just love creating stuff, and being able to be the one behind the camera, filming someone else and getting really creative with the shots and movement and just my own vision is something I've learned I really enjoy. So I think that might be in the future as well.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer when you can just focus on working behind the camera and you're not having to try and set up shots and be the subject and make sure framing's right, and framing it where you can crop in and create some movement. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the self-filming side of it is exponentially difficult.
It's tough, man, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of failures. There's going to be a lot of times where, like you said, you look at a project and go, man, like, I'm just going to put this out, forget about it, and move on to the next one. But
Yeah.
you never know what resonates with people. And I find there's a big change lately with content in general, where people aren't looking for those crazy fast, like, transitions and stuff like that. Just something more raw, it's just something that people can connect with. And if they resonate with you, they'll stick around and watch your stuff. It's good. You build that community.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, interesting one from the audience. Wyatt said, I feel that YouTube is so established and it would be very difficult to be successful. We're going to say today. How do you feel about that?
It's a valid point, and we were kind of just talking about it. We should have taken YouTube more seriously back when it started in 2015. But honestly, like, it's established, but it really depends what your goals are. I find that if I was looking at stats sometime, and it was like only, what was it, like 3% of channels actually hit 1,000 subscribers or more. So many people these days will jump into it expecting immediate success, not realizing the amount of work involved to actually get somewhere with it. You might be a fluke and people just love you right off the bat. People, like, you'll blow up in a couple months, but that's really not the case with most people. Like, you have to grind. Like, your first, like, no one knows who you are. No one cares about your videos. Like, you really slowly just have to keep chipping away, not worry about the numbers, just focus on the passion itself, the passion for fishing, and what you're doing this for. And it is the same case for me. I remember looking back, my buddy Johnny, I'm like, someone's watched our videos for 20 hours, like 20 hours of watch time. Like, that's insane. It's mind blowing to me. And, just to watch that progress over time, it's like, it's surreal, man. I still can't believe it where we're at right now compared to where we were a couple years ago. Like, it's humbling, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think a big part of it these days too, from what I hear, I mean, there's a lot more aspects to the YouTube game than what there once was too, with the algorithms and now with shorts and shorts basically being reels on Instagram. And I've been hearing there's a lot of emphasis on shorts because a lot of people will just get on there and burn through a bunch of shorts rather than watching long form content, where you or I or Chad, we're jumping on there looking for something 12, 15 minutes. If it's later in the evening, maybe 30 to 48 minutes. We're looking to get something out of this, or a cinematic piece we can really sink our teeth into and enjoy. And there's still a lot of us out there that are consuming the longer form content, but I think especially with the younger crowd these days, you're seeing shorter and shorter attention spans, so you gotta kind of play both sides of the ball. And it's it's a content machine. It will eat up a ton of of footage, or like Instagram too. I mean, pound through footage and photos, and it takes a ton to keep it going and to be consistent with it. I mean, that's the other side of that coin. Is I think to get consistent growth, you've got to have posts either weekly or twice a week.
Yeah, I mean, the consistency piece is huge. And that was my mentality back when I first started. It was like, I need to have a video per week out. And, that was fine in the beginning. But what I'm learning is, like, I try to focus myself on quality over quantity. So, I'll take a couple weeks to put a video together, but when I put that video out, it's all encompassing. It's what I've experienced over the past couple months. Like for ice fishing, for example, I couldn't put like a full what I consider like a good video together for a month. And I finally had a decent day of fishing, and I told the story of the past month. What happened over the past month. This is what's been going on. Be smart, save your footage from other trips, even if you're not catching fish. It's all part of the story. And yeah, man, I wish like the younger generation attention spans are just brutal. But you're right, though. I mean, there's a lot of people out there still looking for that longer form content, and it's not going anywhere. It's always going to be a thing. But yeah, no, if anyone watching right now has a YouTube channel, or is just thinking of getting started out or going right now, and you don't think it's going anywhere, just keep plugging away, man. Like, just don't worry about the numbers for now. Just keep going, and you're consistent, it will pay off eventually, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at it as a labor of love. You've got to create for the love of creating and not for somebody else, because
that's it. I mean, obviously that's the name of the game, man.
That's going to kill the quality of the content if you're doing it for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, and it's learning too over time, right? Like YouTube is the second, if not the biggest search engine at this point, aside from Google. So you got to clue into that. Go, man, maybe I could make a video about putting together this Black Pack Pro. Maybe some people are more visual learners than reading a manual. So you might not think anything of this video. You slap something together, and over time, it's just going to get views and views, because people are using YouTube as a search engine. So if you kind of have that mentality, there's always going to be room for videos of trips and stuff like that. But tips, anything that people think or will help them catch more fish, or just, you have to have that mentality if you want to grow as well. Be strategic about your content,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I think you talk about YouTube being the biggest search engine. It's kind of a double-edged sword with YouTube, because while you're building this channel, you're also pulling research in with YouTube, learning to film, learning different camera angles. I mean, it's really a full circle operation. Not only are you using it to grow and find success in an area, but it's your school at the same time.
100%, man. Like, you would think my search history on YouTube is like, it's all fishing stuff. It's the complete opposite. It's all camera media related. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
video
it has
editing.
nothing to do with fishing. It's we live and experience that. It's a different ball game at that point, you know. Depends how serious you want to get about it too. What I love is that I have this log now of all these experiences, like all these trips from out west that I've documented, and you know, these times out with the boys where something happened, like Doyle got a musky bait in his hand and we had to pull it out with the pliers, and just stuff like that you know, it's priceless, and I'll always be able to get to see it. Like, it's literally like a free bank for all your content. Like, you can't really get that these days, so it's cool in a sense, you know.
Everybody's home videos now live on the internet forever.
Exactly. Just upload. You don't need a VCR anymore, man. Just jump on YouTube.
Hey, don't talk about my VCR.
Yeah.
But no, and it's, you know, one of the things I think that, you know, anybody that's thinking about a YouTube channel and like, oh man, that's just so much work. That's just so much work. Yes, it is. But the content for your other places that come from filming, self-filming yourself and taking the steps to do this process it's unimaginable. I mean, you can create a video and the amount of content that you have that you can pull from that one video, it's insane. I mean, it can be a month's worth of photo and video clips if you wanted it to be.
Yep.
If you talk to the camera enough anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, it can also be like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, there's no feeling like when you put a video out and you just see it like take off right away and it just keeps going and going, and it's like, man, people are loving this video. And then there's the flip side, or you think you just made the best freaking video you've ever made, man, and you put it out and it just, no one watches it. But then all of a sudden, a year later, like one of my videos, you look at the view chart and it's like this. Then all of a sudden now it's like this. It's just things happen like that, you know. Like, that's why I always say you got to just keep plugging away, because things change. You got to let those videos soak, you know. It's but so many emotions. It's like riding a roller coaster. It's tough sometimes.
You never know when one of them's going to get bumped into the Discover page and then pushed by the algorithm all of a sudden, and it just takes off. That
right title, that right thumbnail, that's all it takes for someone to click. And, you know, you keep them on there long enough, they watch another video. It's like, it happens quick. Like, I've experienced it. Like, I was telling you on the last podcast, Chad, like that one video I put out in the winter there, it elevated things. We went from 1,200 subscribers to just over 17,000 now at this point. And, you know, it's like, I still don't believe it. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's what I always told myself, like, just keep going and good things will happen, you know. And again, like, being surrounded by like-minded people is the name of the game. And I'm something I'm so thankful for. So, yeah.
I mean, like-minded people makes a huge difference.
Crazy,
such a huge difference. Just somebody that you can bounce stuff off with goes such a long way.
Yeah. Especially when people like who know what they're doing, like Ryan, he works with the new fly fisher, so he's, you know, video production for them. Doyle has the photography background, and I mentioned these guys because these are the guys I hang out with the most, you know. There's Johnny too, who has always been there. We out on the boat together, filming each other, and just brothers for life type thing. But just the amount of knowledge you soak in without even realizing it is unreal. It's really cool.
Sure. Now, who outside of the fishing channels on YouTube, man, who are you watching?
What's that, sorry?
Who are you watching on YouTube? What's your go-tos?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Non-fishing related. Let's go there.
Non-fishing related, yeah. Daniel Schiffer, Peter McKinnon. Man, there's so many guys actually who just make really good stuff. What's his Sam Newton?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of filmmaker guys, man. It just gives me ideas. I actually saw the trailer for the new Joker movie the other day, and man, I don't know if you've
That's
seen it
good.
yet, but like a complete side note, but it's looks wicked, man. Like the cinematography, the way they color graded it, like it's just
Yeah.
there's so many intricacies. You have to watch it over and over again to really see it. But yeah, it's just cool, man. There's just so much you can learn, and it just gets me so motivated. I just want to pick up the camera and get out there after watching those videos, you know?
Nick and I had that with Griselda on Netflix. We watched that, and at the end of it, it's like that was filmed so well. It was
Yeah.
Yeah,
just one of
you
those.
respect it.
Talk
Like
about
you,
how well it's filmed.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I watch a bunch of like just how to how to not how to be a YouTuber, but just I don't know. There's all sorts of videos, man. Just
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
my
all the stuff from creators. I mean, just different filming techniques and the back end stuff with camera settings and
yeah, yeah.
editing tricks. And I mean, you truly never stop learning.
No, for
well,
sure. And I kind of like I'm a techie at heart, so it's I like all those technical videos where you're talking about settings and this and that and getting really in the weeds about it too. It's always something I've liked, so there's always that
Yeah.
too. Modifying cameras, uploading different kinds of firmware, stuff like that. It's just nerdy things, but I enjoy them.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
for
yeah.
sure.
That can be a whole Saturday during the winter months, real easy around here.
Oh
And
yeah.
just sit there and just digest as much YouTube as possible. You mentioned Peter McKinnon. I got to throw Matty Hapoya out there. That was one of my big go tos.
Yeah.
He needs to
Protege,
come
man.
back. He needs to come back. Come back to YouTube if you're
He's
listening,
got a lot
Matty.
of
Which he's
progression
not.
himself, man. I mean, I just saw he bought a red camera a couple months ago. That's not a small investment. You're doing big things if you're
Yeah.
No,
buying a red camera, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, you could be like Pete. Pete bought one and then sold it because he was like, I don't need that. I'll just go back to my Canon.
100%, 100%. You know, you can make videos with a phone these days. That's all you really need. You don't really
Yeah.
need to push it further than that. But if you get the bug and you get addicted to it, I mean, there's nothing wrong with
I tell
more
you what,
gear.
man, with the new iPhone and the Apple ProRes RAW setting and the ability to film straight to an SSD hooked to your phone,
Yeah,
so it's not taking up your onboard storage. The cages and the phone cases where you can screw in your 67 millimeter variable NDs and circular polarizers and black mist filters and this, that, and the other. And then really the only thing you're missing is the depth of field.
yeah,
But between the ProRes RAW setting and then I downloaded the Blackmagic makes a camera app for the iPhone specifically, and it's only for video. But it does an excellent job. It gives you so much control over all the settings. It's pretty awesome.
yeah. I have an S23 Ultra. I'm a Samsung guy, but like it's a content beast. Like the things
mm-hmm.
this phone can do, but so much gear. I always forget about how good the quality is on the phone, and then I'll quickly film something just to like. It's
Hmm.
easier to grab the phone than to grab the camera at the front of the kayak, and I'm like, man, why don't I use this more often? It's nuts. Like it's such good quality. It's pretty cool that we've come
With
this far.
with good
And you
lighting and
got
the right settings, it does look pretty solid.
That's it. That's all you need.
and you got a lot of companies out there like Small Rig and some of the others really making a lot of stuff for
Yeah.
your phone so you can hold it better, attach microphones better, just do all kinds of things better with your phone than you've ever been able to do.
Yeah.
I was just on the Polar Pro website the other day, and I'm trying to talk myself into that phone case they've got
The
specifically for the
cart's
iPhone.
ready to go, eh?
I know.
It's
I
deadly,
know.
man.
I'm like a $90 phone case, like really, but man, just the to
You
have
only
the
live
cover over
once.
the lenses, yeah. Yeah, it's a business expense, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, business expense. Sounds good. Sounds like a
exactly. It's
plan
a
to me.
Yeah,
write-off, man. It's a write-off.
Yeah. We have become that YouTube that short. It's a write off. It's a
yeah.
write off. Man, let's circling back though, like how did you get into kayak fishing? Obviously, fly fishing and the different things. I mean, what brought you into kayak fishing as part of this journey?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I was always a bank fisherman. Like growing up, I never had a boat. I was either in waders or I was on the bank fishing for whatever. I'm not impartial to any kind of species, really. It's whatever I'm sort of feeling, and the odd boat trip here and there. If Johnny's got a boat, but yeah, no, a couple of years ago, Ryan Doyle, another buddy of ours who don't really talk to anymore, Luke, but we wanted to do like a friendly little bass tournament on a back lake out here in Eastern Ontario, and everyone had a kayak except for me. And Doyle was like, "No worries, man. I'll reach out to Will Richardson. You know, he's got a couple kayaks. We'll throw it on top of my car. We'll go out there and you can try it out." So I was like, "All right, cool, man." I didn't really think anything of it. I'm like, all right, I've been in canoes before, and that's always been good, and boats and stuff like that. So my first kayak experience was in a Jackson Kilroy. Really cool little boat, man. I must say it's a little bit of a different experience than your typical sit on top because you're sitting in the boat. But man, I hit the water, and I remember because I was filming that day, and I went back and watched the footage, and I didn't win the tournament. It was brutal. I didn't catch too many fish, but all I could see in the footage was just me talking to myself about how epic it was to be out on a kayak and just what I could do with it. Like just the ability to go anywhere on the lake. You know, it feels good to be paddling and just to get into these tight spots of the kayak, and like I became addicted immediately. Like I knew I needed to get my own kayak. So, you know, I did a little research and I ended up getting the Jackson Bite, like first generation Jackson Bite. Great little boat. Call it the Hot Tamale. I still have it. I just pulled her out of the backyard today, actually. And that's where it all started, man. I've been addicted since. Like I was looking at my bank of content actually, and my first, I think it was like first 20, 25 videos were made on my phone, but it was all bank fishing up to it like a couple of years ago. And all of a sudden it was just kayak fishing. It's like a full transition almost. And man, it's so fun, man. I really got the feel for it for the past couple of years with the Bite. Really love the platform. And I recently just purchased Bite FD. So, I'm a research guy. I'll take a couple days. I'll look into like absolutely everything I'm considering. And I've only experienced Jackson and just love the kayaks, man. Like I don't want to try anything else. I know there's a bunch of brands out there. There's some nice yaks for sure, but I just love my Jackson. And for what I do, for how I transport the kayak, for what I need it for, the Bite's the perfect platform for me. And to be able to throw the drive system into that, I'm counting the days till it gets here, man, till I get to go to Frontenac Outfitters and go pick it up. Charlie was saying it's being molded as we speak, so pretty excited for that. But like in the early season, after we get out of ice fishing, I'll do a bit of shore fishing, stuff like that. But it's like my heart's with the kayak. I just can't wait to get back out on the boat. And man, I'm excited for this year. Some plans to hit some bigger lakes in the area. I never really had the confidence to hit without a drive system in case I really needed to get out of a situation. Or bigger water's a different story, man. I know you can probably relate, but yeah, kayak fishing's unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's, you don't have to use gas. The only gas you're using is what you're using to get out there in your vehicle. And man, it's fun, man. It's just too good.
And dude, to be honest with you, I mean, that's what hooked Zach and I. I mean, the first time I remember we went and picked up our kayaks at the department store, we'll call it. We literally drug them down the hill to that pond around Zach's parents' house.
Yeah.
And that was our first day in the boats. And it was a blast, man. It was just, I don't think we caught a bunch of fish, but we caught a few fish and we figured out to keep our shoes on because our feet got so sunburned it was unreal.
It happens quick, man.
And we quickly figured out we needed to go to Walmart and buy some yoga blocks to shove inside the hull. So we
because the department store kayak was a little leaky and a little flimsy at the time.
Yeah.
It just shows how far they've come.
Oh yeah.
But no, man, it was really cool, and to test some of the boats that we've all had the luxury to test, like the Bite FD, talking about it, and the regular Bite. So, I mean, they're not huge platforms, but man, they do so much so well.
Versatile. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it, you just there's a comfort level with them, and you feel like you're almost on a stand-up paddleboard in a way, just the way that the deck sits and everything.
Oh
It's just a
yeah.
cool feeling little boat.
Yeah. And
It's not little.
I love standing up and fishing. So like I'll be standing on my kayak more than I'm sitting in the day. And it's just so stable, man. Like I remember when I first got up there and started standing on it, you're just like, oh, you don't even want to move, you know? And then by the end of that session, you're just rocking back and forth on it. Like, it's crazy, man. It's so cool. And I had no idea of how, and it's even evolved since a couple years ago, but just like, it's like having a little bass boat, man. Like
Yeah.
I had no idea that companies were making kayaks like this specifically for fishing. Like I always thought, the typical like sit inside kayaks and no attachment points, just not made for fishing. But when I discovered this world and was introduced to it and just saw like what's involved, I was like, man, this is unreal. Like this is what I've always wanted my whole life. Like I'd always dreamed about having a boat, and now I have my own little boat. I can fully customize it the way I want to, and it's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And
That's
talking about
one of the first times we put our eyes on a Jackson, or maybe even the first time we were in a Jackson was up there at the Boat Sport and Travel, and we put all three of us on a big rig. And after we did that, we were kind of like, all right, these things are pretty serious at this point. Like, I think this is the route we can go.
Yeah. It changed our view and our future forever. Just getting comfortable in a kayak, it was just like we thought it looked cool, and then it was like, holy cow, it's something we got to do.
Yeah.
But talking about rigging for fishing, but as a YouTuber, my gosh, these boats are rigged for filming.
There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of possibilities, man.
Yeah, I mean, with camera boom arms and the different things like that, I mean, you don't even have to be an angler. If you're just a traveling YouTuber with a vlog series where you freaking live in a van, I mean, the attachment points to keep your vlog going are insane.
Yeah.
With what you can do with the kayak of all sorts.
Yeah, and just even like getting it just creative with the angles and stuff. Like obviously you're on a boat, there's only so far you can go, but with creativity, man, I guess sky's the limit, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wyatt with the Take Two. That's a cool boat, man. Being able to turn a tandem boat into like a fully dedicated like NAR type fishing boat. That's pretty cool. All these guys turning them into fishing boats, man. I like that. That's cool.
Oh man, and talk about that boat compared to the NAR. That boat, when I set the Take Two and my NAR on the trailer side by side, it absolutely dwarfs the NAR. And the NAR's a big boat.
Yeah. I've never seen a Take Two in real life. I don't know how like actual big it is. So it looks big in the pictures, but yeah, I can imagine. And you put into perspective there just now. So yeah, I've seen a NAR.
It's bigger, wider. It's longer, wider, taller. Gosh, it's just
big.
It's a big boat. It is big boat. And my gosh, it's stable. You can literally push down on one side of it, and it's got so much volume in it. It wants to shove the whole hull right back up out of the water.
Right back, eh? Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It's neat. Definitely worth a try if you ever get to go over to Frontenac and try one out, man. It's fun. It's a neat boat.
Yeah, definitely this year try couple different boats out just to experience it, I'd like to try something with a motor too. That'd be pretty cool. We'll start with the paddle drive and go from there though.
Hey,
I'm excited for that Mark II, man. Seen some videos. She's pretty quick.
It is it's amazing how fast that boat is with that drive. It'll crawl up a river. You'll be impressed.
Yeah, I'm stoked, man. It's gonna be good.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I think your YouTube channel is going to change up a little bit. You're going to be going out, definitely hitting some different places that you probably hadn't thought about before.
Yeah, there's a lake in the area called Big Rito Lake, and it's renowned for the size of fish in there, man. Like it's like St. Lawrence River. Like the smallmouth in there are mutants. Like they don't even make sense, And this lake's like that too. But I've always kind of shied away from it because just because of the paddling aspect, and it can get nasty pretty quick out there. It's a big lake, but definitely feeling confident going out there this year and really amping things up. So, and it'll be good for tournaments too, the virtual tournaments. So it'll be kind of a cool hand in hand piece, be able to document both at the same time. It'll be interesting.
Are you gonna film while you're fishing some of these tournaments?
Oh yeah,
that'll be fun, dude.
Oh yeah,
fun.
Yeah, no, I'd like to document it for sure, because so many guys are getting interested in it now, and a lot of people haven't taken the plunge yet. Like, I mean, I've been holding back and just been watching buddies do the tournaments and stuff like that. And it's not like it's crazy serious. I mean, it's virtual tournament, but there's still that level of competitiveness where you want to be number one, So it's going to be a bit of incorporating how I like to fish, tips and stuff like that, along with the tournament piece. So it should be interesting. I'm excited for it.
Dude, I'm excited to watch and see how it all comes together. I
Yeah,
think,
buddy.
those travel vlogs and the series like that, I think are a lot of fun on the big boat side. And like you said, there's not a lot of that really in the kayak side. You get a little bit of it, but not really a whole lot of, really turn it into a vlog style series.
Yeah,
They're
no,
usually
it's true.
short and sweet.
Yeah, like it's its own little niche really in the fishing world. And I've sort of, I do fishing videos, but it's all types of stuff. I mean, like lately, unless it's the winter and we're ice fishing, it's mainly been kayak stuff. But I still, there's the odd time I'll still like to fish from the bank, like go do some urban fishing here in the city. You'd be amazed how many quarries and rock pits have big old bats. It's just so cool finding little spots like that. It's such a cool feeling. So that's always going to be a part of what I do. But man, the kayak fishing is just, it's addictive, man. Yeah.
So what do you got? What do you got next? I mean, what's the future look like for you as far as, what you're planning on, are you, going to keep rolling with the YouTube and get it as big as you can? I mean, what's the future look like?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I just found out my AdSense pin is on the way in the mail, which is really exciting. I mean, it's always been a dream of mine to make some sort of money from doing what I love, and that's fishing. So being able to get to this point now with YouTube it's such an accomplishment, and for me that it's just even more motivation to keep going hard and keep evolving the videos and just continuing to build the community, man. I find it so cool that you're putting your own videos out there, and anyone from the world can watch and make a comment and follow what you're doing. And I just think that's so cool. So yeah, there's no stopping. If anything, we're just going to go harder now. I really want to get to the point where I do it full time, to be honest with you. Right now I work for a telecommunications company here in Canada by day as a public sector account executive. And then, I look at YouTube as like my side job type thing. I put just as much effort into that, if not more, that I do my regular work. So man, being able to do that full time would be just the coolest thing in the world. So that's the next goal, essentially. I don't know how that will come together and how it will work. I'll have to see how things go as we progress, but that's the goal for sure.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I like it. I think that's admirable. I mean, because I think there's a lot of people that don't understand just the amount of work it is and the amount of gratification that would come from being able to go full time and provide and make a living from it. It's crazy. It's crazy that we can do that in fishing from that platform.
Yeah, no, it's unreal, man. Like I always, as a kid, I always just like, I want to be because at the time all I knew is being a pro fisherman, like I just want to fish for a living. I always said that. And like, I'm sitting here right now going like, if I go hard enough, like I might be able to fish for a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah.
And like what Christian just said, you don't realize how time consuming it is till you jump into it. It's so true, man. Like, especially if you're putting your heart and soul into it and you're really focusing on all the little details in the video, like we talked about the last podcast, you know, spending a couple hours just adding sounds in to enhance the video and just every little detail, man, and really just trying to make your next video better and better and keep evolving over time. It takes a lot out of you. You know, you work a full day, 8 hours, and then you put another 8 hours in editing, or you're going out fishing, you're filming all day, and like it never ends, man. It's constant, like constant. You have to keep going. And
you have to enjoy it, because if you don't,
you do, you really
will
do.
burn out,
and that's
very,
why so
very
many
quickly.
people quit, man. They don't realize how much work it is, and they don't see success right away, and they just quit. So for those who stick it out, man, you'll feel the rewards eventually. You'll feel success for sure, whatever that looks like to you, you know.
Well, dude, and that's the same way with like either the hunting or fishing industry. People come out guns blazing, man. They buy all the stuff. They hit all the events. They're at this, they're at that. You know, they've got a YouTube channel. They're going to be the next big thing. And a year later, it's like, what happened to Jimmy? He got
With
burned
Jimmy,
out,
man.
dude. He's at home.
Little Jimmy.
You know, he sold it all.
Yeah, I know for sure. And it's important to take breaks too. Like when you're going this hard on it, it's just like anything else. Like you can get burnt out, and there's been times, you know, over the past couple of years when I've recognized that like I need to take a break, and that's not a bad thing, man. Like, you know, being consistent is one thing, but your mental health and, you know, the motivation to do what you love to do, if you're all of a sudden lacking that, like you got to take a step back and evaluate, take a little time, separate yourself, and then come right back into it. The filming aspect, at least, you know what I mean? So
I mean, even the bigger guys like Maddie and Pete, you know, we mentioned, I mean, you see them take breaks for 2-3 weeks at a time sometimes, because creativity gets stale. You've got to step away from it and do something different to hopefully come back and bring something new into what you're doing, and to be able to spark some new creativity and new looks,
no,
new
it's
styles,
definitely important.
new techniques.
Yeah,
but
it's like any other job.
Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure. But the best part is when you can combine vacations with creating content. Like last fall there, I went down to the Bahamas for a week and a half, and oh man, that's a different world, man. I brought down 2 travel rods with me, some medium travel rods, and like I was getting bitten off like butter on like 80, 100-pound fluoro and barracudas just right offshore behind the hotel, you know. It's like stuff like that, like, yeah, man, you can't beat that. Those types of experiences, and that's what it's all about in the end, you know. You only live once, and it's all about those experiences that you have. Being able to document them and share them with others is just a bonus. So
and you said it perfectly. And we get one trip around. There's no do-overs, there's no nothing. You don't want to be that 80-year-old dude that's sitting there going, man, I just wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have done. You don't want to be me and Zach sitting here going, I wish we'd have spent a little extra money in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's good to do it now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And no regrets, you know. I mean, I'm thinking about buying a kayak. Buy it, man. Like if you're good, like just buy it. Like do your research and just buy it. Like more than ever, I've just been thinking about that, and you just got to live, man. That's what it's all about. So go out and do it.
Yeah.
Take your spin and go.
Yeah,
man. What I love in this conversation is like I can see as we've progressed through this, like how much more fired up you've gotten since we started. Like you're ready to go now.
No, man, I'm seriously, man. I've noticed it too. Like I feel like a kid in a candy store right now, man, because a lot of the time you get caught up in the day-to-day, and you like being able to answer these questions and reflect on the past and where you started, where you are now. And like when you first got into kayak fishing, it just triggers so many memories. And oh man, it's so, I feel like I drank a Red Bull right now. Like I'm freaking out, you know what I mean? Like it's just a good feeling, man. It's cool.
That is awesome. That's the way it's supposed to feel, you know. I mean, Zach's getting ready to head out to Reading to go to a big archery shoot. I've got
that's sick.
a deal this weekend where I'm going to be.
Technically, it's work, but
technically, my event this weekend is work for the USA Bass and JK Trail, but it's like at the same time, like I'm fired up to go. Like it's kind of like
Heck yeah, man.
as this week progresses, it's like let's go.
Yeah.
Cameras are charged. Let's go. Drone's been charged for like 4 days now, which is a world record.
It's been charged so much that the batteries have drained themselves a little bit, and you got to recharge them again.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Don't you hate that,
man?
Oh,
Don't you hate that?
You think you're fully charged, you get out there, each battery's at like 60%. You got
yeah.
15 minutes of fly time. It's like sweet, man.
Yeah.
No
perfect.
battery worse than the.
Glad I bought that Fly More combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep feeding the batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I must say though, like especially in my area here, because this is where I live, Ontario. The kayak fishing community is tight, man. It's a really good group of people. If you're watching, you've ever wanted to, jump into it, I highly suggest it. Everyone's super supportive, and everyone just wants to see everyone have a good time and, just succeed and help each other out, learn. And it's just a cool community to be part of. So yeah, pretty happy about that. Lucky.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Wyatt is informing us that it's only Tuesday.
Hush. Tuesday's
on,
almost
man.
over, Wyatt. Tuesday's almost
Tuesday's over, dude. This is like Wednesday at noon.
Almost hump day, man.
It's almost halfway through hump day. We're over. Nah, man, that's awesome. It makes like just being able to feed off your big fish energy, and dude, that's awesome.
I appreciate it, man. It's so funny because the fiance, she's been incredibly. I don't know if she'll end up watching this, but the amount of support I get from her, man, like it's absolutely unreal. Like when I'm down, she lifts me up, and I have to give a shout out to her. She's always, I'll say bye like lightly in the morning when I'm leaving at like 2 a.m. She's always go get, I'm sending you all the big fish energy. She always says it, man. It's always such a good start to my day. And oh man, it just reminds you that there's just there's worse I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like if you're having issues or you're stressing out about something, just put it aside, man, and just look at the positives in life and what's around you and everything like that, and just move forward and have a good time. So I had to mention her though, just because of the amount of support she's given me, and never complaining when I'm going out like fishing 5, 6, 7 times a week. Like, it's just constant support, and it's helped me get to where I am now. So I'm super thankful. Yeah.
It sounds like you chose well, because that's a very important support system to have.
Yeah. So you don't always get it, man. I've been through a fair amount of girls in the past, and it's not always been the case. So,
I noticed you say fiance, so this one is the keeper.
Yeah, we're actually getting married later this fall there in November. So gearing up for that this year as well. A lot going on this year, man. It's going to be a big year for sure.
Congrats.
I'm excited for you, dude.
Yeah. Cheers. Appreciate it.
So as we get ready to close this thing out, dude, I want you to, number one, thank anybody that you need to thank, sponsorship, people that help you out. Shout out your social pages, YouTube page, just where people can get more of you, Tyler, and see your creativity, and man, just enjoy that big fish energy.
Yeah, no, cheers, man. I appreciate that. It's so funny for being in this world. I really suck at posting consistently outside of YouTube. A lot of photos and stuff on Instagram, but you can find me at the Big Fish Energy on YouTube. That's my main thing. That's my main focus. In terms of companies, shout out to Jackson Kayak. Obviously, super happy to have joined the team this year. Feeling blessed really about that, and the belief they have in me and everything like that, and what we can do and what we can bring to the table. And Bass Dash Fishing, been working with them for quite a while now, super supportive. And just fiance Aliane, parents, always been really supportive. Family in general, they're a great support system to lean on. And just the boys, man, Doyle, Ryan, Johnny, if you're watching, love you guys, man. I appreciate everything you do and all the support along the way, all the good times, and there's only more on the way, boys. So yeah, no, we're We're going. Let's go.
It's awesome, man. I love it. As always on the Orion Podcast, we'd like to thank Orion Coolers. Pick yourself up an Orion cooler. Use that code Orion Rocks at checkout. Save yourself a little bit of % on that purchase. Jackson Kayak keeping us paddling. Zero lithium batteries, man. Batteries, they just don't die. That's just all there is to it. They just don't die. Cast King keeping us casting all year long. All year last year and all year this year. Got a new set of rods. Absolutely love them. Check them out, castking.com. Pick you up some. Evolve Fishing. If you need some like killer rod sleeves, evolvefishing.com. JKT 15. Save yourself 15% on those. Basco Fishing, yada yada yada. Garage Beer. Got to thank Garage Beer because I can't do a podcast without my Garage Beer, and we thank the heck out of them for their support. Check them out, Garage Beer, drink Garage Beer on the socials. It's a good time. But yeah, that's all
I'm gonna have to come down your way and try some Garage Beer, man.
Dude, we can try all the beer. all of it. There's plenty. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys on the next one 2 weeks from now. Looking forward to it. Tyler?
Speaking of consistency, hopefully we get consistent again.
Yeah, we're going to try to be more consistent. We're going to try to be more consistent. That's it. Good night, everybody.
Definitely. Thanks for watching.